What should we expect to see in terms of the sequence of events that will occur as the prosperity programs are instituted and the interim government is put in place and the present one gets removed? Can you describe the scenario, including ways that we will be able to see that this is happening?
Okay, let's look at the scenario. The first part of the scenario is to have the deliveries, which we are close to having. There's still some little minor glitches in the procedure, but it's very close to happening. When all of that happens and we get our finances, our prosperity, when that happens, within 24 to 48 hours after that happens, and in most cases it'll be, if it happens during the day, then that in evening we will have announcements of a new government. The announcements are to be set up so that it makes it perfectly clear to people that there isn't a great difficulty. This is not a coup per se. This is a movement of the government from being an illegal government run by a corporate reality to being a true constitutional government as far as the United States goes. There are other nations around the world that similar things will happen. So the next step in the announcements after this first one is made is about the changes in the financial system, which includes, of course, the debt forgiveness, the ending of the illegal taxation system and the refund system. And the third part that they will be doing with this, of course, as part of debt forgiveness, is returning titles to everybody who has or is in the edge or has been in the process of foreclosure. That will be taken care of. All those will be stopped. It means that all the people who have that will be given their homes back if they haven't been occupied. And so look upon it this way. People will be getting housing back or equivalent amount of worth of that particular property. They'll be getting complete debt forgiveness in everything that deals with banking's loans, student loans, car loans, mortgages, credit card debt. All that will be gotten rid of. Everything will be, in other words, the levelness of the plane will be returned to its initial tabula rasa position. So the first thing then, of course, we talk about the IRS. The IRS income, the initial concept was to do this back to roughly the period of the 1970s or even back to World War II. We now have a lot of people talking because this is, the age hasn't been settled on because they're doing all kinds of calculations on this. They will maybe go back to the start of the Fed and the IRS in 1916. So we'll see. What the process we have to understand right now is that it means there's a lot of money for us in the prosperity programs, a lot of money for people to get from the IRS, and there'll also be a lot of money for people to get who are involved in properties and in credit card debt. And you get your own car immediately, so that payment of the cars is gone. So this is the thing they're looking at is with all this resources being returned to the people, people will see that this new government is not a government of Wall Street. It's not a government of special interests. It's a government of the people. The next thing that will happen is all these acts that have restricted us in some way or another, like illegal phone taps, the violating of all the basic rights that we have in the Constitution, will all be restored. The next thing that they will do to show people that this is not some dictatorial government is they will start talking about the return to a fully elected, to fair and fully elected representation from local levels all the way up to the president. So this will also be talked about. It'll also see that this is just a 6 to 8 month general period where the interim president and his cabinet are going to be totally involved in one process, which is restoring, in the case of the United States, is restoring this nation back to what it was, a fully constitutional government. The other thing they will talk about is the changes in the finances. We will be moving toward a gold-backed system. We will also have a tremendous amount of money given to us because of that. So what is happening is this country, in the case of the United States, also in the case of Europe, in the case of many countries in Asia and in the Americas, are going to be returned to prosperity. They're going to be returned to their full rights, and they're going to see that the governments are going to be set up with decrees to create a elected representational government that allows for people to have a better way of interacting with their representatives. Instead of it being government by special interests, it'll be government by the people. So they'll see all of that, and then they'll see that the justice system is being changed from a statute-oriented admiralty government to being a government that is completely free and open and is based on common law. Now, once all those announcements are made, there'll then be the actions to prove that what they said wasn't just a bunch of words. Now, once this all happens, something else will be happening. They will begin a procedure of adjudicating what's going on with the justice system, people in jail, especially in the United States, which is more people in prison than any other country on the planet, and in terms of per capita population. And the other thing that they will look at and see is that they will then be asking for people who want to be candidates for representation from local all the way up to national government. So the process will then be one thing after another pointing toward the fact that this is about a restoration of representational government, and that the American governance system is being changed. And another thing to prove this point is that the way the United States government has acted in foreign policy will be completely reversed. All the soldiers are coming home. We are going to be relinquishing bases overseas back to the people who were the original national controllers of that. Like, for instance, Japan will get all its bases back. Same thing with Germany. Germany will take a little bit longer because the bases are a lot bigger and there's more of them. So the process is that we will be moving from a world based upon strife and militarism to a world based upon peace and cooperation. There will be, to prevent any country which gets its bases back thinking about militarism, there are going to be bases and facts set up agreements which have already been preliminary agreed to that basically take care of this whole thing about war and the utilization of military as part of a political military system. So this is all going to be changing. And so as people see one agreement after the other happening on down through the months, they will see that these are governments, these interim governments, based upon changing the world, based upon changing the whole process of what's going on, and changing the basic mode of reality. And as a basic part of this whole process, the key, as far as we in the Federation are concerned, the disclosure will occur very quickly, about 2 weeks after this whole process starts. So this will lead to a lot of things with technology that also proves that this whole system is different. So what we're going to be seeing here is a basic change. And as you watch on television this whole thing unfolding and watch it unfolding around you, you will see that this is indeed a new world that is being created, and that it's a world a lot different than the one that we have ever known before.